Welcome to The Reluctant Medium, where we cover the gamut of out there conversations. With an open mind and a curious heart, we want to talk about it all, from psychic phenomena and energy medicine to beings from other star systems and out-of-body experiences. You'll find a great balance between grounded science-backed topics and others that science hasn't quite caught up to yet. I'm your host, Dr. Maria Rothenburger, a psychotherapist by trade and a reluctant spirit baby communicator. And hey, even though I'm a medium, I'm not buying everything folks are selling. I just have a voracious appetite to know more about what I call the world of the weird. Join us on your favorite podcast platform or watch on YouTube at The Reluctant Medium. I'll see you there. Well, hello once again, everyone. Welcome to the Reluctant Medium podcast. I'm Dr. Maria Rothenburger, your host for the podcast. And today is, I think, going to be a much needed balm for our weary souls. This climate, how it is right now, literal climate, it is icy and snowy in a lot of places of the US and potentially other parts of the world. But the energy of the planet and particularly I'm in the US, particularly the US is just pretty edgy and hard right now. And so I'm so delighted to bring today Salima Adelstein to talk us through this, to support us through what's happening. Welcome, Salima. So good to meet you and see you and welcome you today.
Oh, thank you so much. It's really an honor to be here today. I'm looking forward to sharing a little bit of peace and love with your audience today.
Well, I'm taking a deep breath already. Right. And so tell us about you and who you are and what you do. And also, how did you come to do what you do?
I love that question because there's so many different aspects of it. Our life is like this beautiful tapestry where we have many different experiences and we're not quite sure what all those experiences have to do with each other. And then all of a sudden you get to see the tapestry and every different aspect of your life makes sense. It's like, oh, this all led to this one moment that I call now, that I call the present. And my life is similar. I started out my professional life as a special educator and then as a principal of a private school, working with children who you would describe today as not fitting in and having difficult time adjusting. And from that, moved to doing hospice work with AIDS babies and understanding what life and death are all about and how they intersect. And then discovered this wonderful field of alternative healing and how there's more to us as humans than what we think. And the real discovery of our soul and our spirit and how the inner healer works with that. So looking at how alternative medicine or complementary medicine works together with traditional medicine and took, I would say, a leap of faith into moving out of the traditional world with a nice, safe paycheck and exploring this whole world of what was called being a healer at that time. And doing what we now know as sort of energy healing and exploring what energy healing is all about, and also exploring sort of who we are in our essence. And then I had going all over the world, working with different meditation practices, different healers, different scholars, learning and studying. And through that exploration, I met a Sufi master healer and a sheikh. And he totally turned my world upside down.
Oh, gosh.
Everything that I thought that I knew about life, about love, about peace, about my purpose here on earth, just got totally shattered in about one instant.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was so transformative. It was like seeing life through, if I can say it this way, seeing life through God's eyes instead of my own human eyes, and everything was different.
Yeah.
That I said, I need to learn more about what is this? What is this thing called Sufism? And how does it relate to how we are in the world? So I was fortunate enough for him to invite me to study with him for months over in Jerusalem and Palestine, and to learn about something that we call Sufi spiritual healing, and to really understand our relationship with God, the Most High, your higher self, whatever word that you want to use for something that's greater than yourself, that goes beyond meditating and really connects you to your essence, to the truth about who you are, and to big capital T truth, and how that relates to how you see the world and how you are in the world and how the world affects you. And I'm one of those people that used to fight for every good cause, right? If there was a good cause, you could see me out on the streets with a placard or banging on the doors. I even remember my college president saying to me once, maybe you'll be happier somewhere else because you're really not so interested in studying as much as you are in protesting. But I was doing it from this place of, I know what's right, right? And I was burning myself out from that place of, I know what's right. Instead of what Sufism really looked at was not so much what I know is right, but what is God, the Most High, the Divine, making in all of this. And there's a wisdom within my heart that goes far beyond what my brilliant intellect may think is right or wrong. And being able to access that field, being able to access the soul and the spirit of my being that's one with that, that's not separate from that, totally changed my life, transformed my life. We have an expression in Sufism, it's called die before you die, right? To wake up to who you are in truth, in your essence, so that the dying that we experience when we physically die, that oneness, that unity of spirit, that beautiful peace that everyone talks about, that light of love, is something that we can experience in our life now. And that's what Sufism brought to me, and why I am dedicating my life to share it with as many people that feel like that would help them too.
Oh my goodness. I just feel calm already. It's like you're carrying a virtual picket for Sufism. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. In some respects, you're right. It's written across my heart.
Yes, yes, glowing like a Care Bear.
Yeah.
Can you say a little bit more about dying before you die?
Sure. We have this wonderful human form, and in it we have our will, right? And we have the things that we desire, and we have the things that we like, and we have the things that we don't like. And all of those can be called our ego, or in Sufism we call them our nafs. And in that, there are higher levels of that support our higher consciousness. And there are lower levels of that prevent us from knowing the essence of who we really are. Mm. And the dying before you die is called the fana, or the annihilation of those parts of our ego that are not serving us in the highest. those parts of our desires that are so focused on we're going to achieve happiness by some attainment of some outside glory, right? Whether it's a big house, whether it's the next car, whether it's the number one podcast in the US, whatever it is, we think that those are the things that we need to strive for. Dying before you die and letting those things wash through so that you begin to recognize what's really important is knowing my essence that's everlasting. That even after I physically die, there's a part of me that is going to continue in my spirit, in my life. And to know that now in this life allows you to merge your will and God's will for you. And that makes life full of peace, love, joy, happiness, contentment, no matter what chaos is going on outside.
Yes.
Because we say in Sufism, there's a beautiful quote that we think that we're a small star, but in fact, we comprise the entire universe. And all of that exists within us. So when we see something on the outside, and this oftentimes is difficult for people, when we see something on the outside, we tend to separate it from what's happening within us. Instead of what we learn in the die before you die and in the fana is that it becomes a mirror for us of something that needs to be transformed, needs to be purified so that we can see the truth of what is. And then to begin to discern in a different way without our own judgment. Imagine a world where we didn't judge.
Oh, heaven.
Yeah. Then we're really creating heaven on earth.
Yeah. I just had an aha moment. The mirror. So this is, and I'm hopeful that we can talk about steps to getting to that place of seeing the world in that way. But for example, I had an experience last week where something, I don't watch the news or anything, but I hear things from clients and this, and, people passing by, about something terrible that happened in my town. And I absolutely had a judgment. I was outraged and very, very upset. And it's interesting when you said things are a mirror, I'm paraphrasing, but I can see how looking at that situation was saying to me, look at how that's reflecting in you and how I can then go ahead and touch that part of me that needs healing in some way.
Exactly.
Whoa. That is so great. And I'm a psychotherapist, so I think about that with like other humans, but situations and the big things happening, I don't think about it that way. And now I'm going to. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it really makes a difference in how we perceive what's happening.
Yes.
Right. And we can perceive it with the lens that looks at everything so bleakly. We can perceive it from a clearer lens that sees the truth behind what's happening.
Yes, there's purpose somewhere.
Yeah. And being able to understand the purpose behind gives us a contentment instead of our beings always being in this fight or flight kind of response, which is hard on our physical being.
Sure is. It sure is. So how do folks begin to move toward dying before you die?
By first, very simply, starting with remembering.
Oh.
Right. The first Sufi technique that we have is called remembrance, because we've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten the holiness of our being.
Mm.
So the very first step is something that we call remembrance. Remembering the essence of who you are beyond this outer. And being able to connect to an inner source of love and light that is unconditional.
Mm.
Many of us grew up with very conditional love.
Sure.
So that we view love from the position of remembering a conditional love. If I do this, then I receive love.
Mm-hmm.
The remembering that we're talking about is the remembering of a divine love that is unconditional, that is always there, available to us, whether we're in pain, whether we're in suffering, or whether we're feeling happy or excited about something.
Mm.
One of the beauties of working with hospice patients at the end of their life is that they experience that at the end. Many of them at the end of their life. Many of them have turned to me and have said, Salima, please let my family know all there is love.
Mm.
All there is love.
Mm.
From a 3-year-old to a 103-year-old.
Mm. So moving.
Imagine living that now rather than when we die. Accessing that divine love within us. It's within every single human being.
Mm.
Whether we call it divine love, whether we call it light, whether we call it God within, I don't care what name.
You can call it
that you name
pepperoni.
it.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. I don't care whatever name. What I love about Sufism is it's the experience of it. I can talk to you for the next 2 hours, but what's more important, which is what you said earlier, is being able to experience that love, that peace.
Mm.
And that's what the first step in Sufism offers, is the opportunity to experience it through the simplest of practices called remembrance. Remembering a sacred name for the Most High, or remembering some sounds that take you there through the sound vibration of a sacred language.
Oh, so is it chanting or
So it's chanting, it's repeating a phrase. For example, we start with the ah. We all know that sounds bring some kind of relief to whatever's going on. But more importantly, the sound begins to open our heart more than any other sound that we can make. You can make an E sound, you can make an I sound. They all have different places within our physical body. The mystery of that sound is that it opens the heart. And the magic, the mystery, the beauty happens within our heart. And all of us are so focused in what's happening up here that we lose connection with the treasures that list in here, the treasures that exist within our heart. And that's the first step, is that connection to our own heart, to the divine, to the light within our own heart that's connected to the Most High. And it starts as with a simple ah. And then that ah leads us. The remembrance is the remembering of a sacred name that has that ah sound. In Sufism, the name that we use hasn't gotten a lot of great press lately, I have to be honest with you, because the name is Allah. And many people associate that name with terrorists or with other. But in its essence, in the sound vibration, when I was in Syria, every religion in Syria used the name because it just meant the one, God. But we tend to have perceptions, associations with different names. So if that name doesn't resonate with you, it's okay. You can just do a syllabic ah, and then the la. And the la grounds it. The beauty of Sufism, unlike some meditation practices, the beauty of Sufism is it allows you to be in the world the same way you are in that peace and calm in your meditative state.
Yes. That's, I think, what's important, right? Because there's just so much chaos. And so finding that centered calm in the midst of chaos. You're saying this is possible with bringing in awe.
Bringing in the ah, combining it with the la, and letting it resonate, right? Sound has a vibration and a resonating. Let it resonate within you so that it begins to purify whatever the negativity that we hold, whatever the judgments that we hold, whatever the worries. I was one of the classic warriors, right? It's part of my tradition, I think, part of my culture. When I was a classic, right? You know, to not have to not find a worry bone in your body is such a gift. To be certain so that you don't doubt yourself.
So big.
It's huge.
Okay, quick pause, my friends. Have you ever listened to this show and thought, wow, I wish I could crawl deeper into the woo-woo rabbit hole with Dr. Maria? Then congrats, your moment has arrived. The Reluctant Medium Patreon is where all the good cosmic content goes. We're talking Tarot Tuesdays with things like weekly spreads, mini readings, and the tea behind the cards. Thin Veil Thursdays, where we deliver channeled messages or mediumship musings, and the occasional spirit side-eye. Moon Magic Mondays, with forecasts, rituals, and hey, don't blame me, blame the lunar cycle energy updates. And Spirit Baby Extras, channelings, Q&As, and tender support for folks connecting beyond the veil. Plus, printable goodies, bonus videos, and the kind of community vibe that feels like a cosmic group hug. If you've ever gotten something from this show, a laugh, a message, a moment of clarity, Patreon is how you support the magic while getting even more of it. So scoot on over to patreon.com/thereluctantmedium and join us. It's cozy, it's magical, and honestly, you belong there. See you over there.
Do you find that folks who begin to, here's what I'm hearing, because I'm a therapist, right? So here's what I'm hearing.
Sure.
Folks begin to remember who they are. They begin to bring in these gentle sounds that connect to source. And P.S. I find it interesting. Your name is Salima.
Yeah.
But I'm also wondering if you notice in your work with folks that once they begin to remember who they are and connect with source, that how they change inside begins to change how they are in the world, right? Not just how they perceive, but how they interact with other people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I don't know if you found this in your practice, but we see this a lot. When parents make the change,
Yeah.
they see changes in their kids.
Oh, see, I need to do that. Calling myself out.
I mean, for me, that's like such beautiful thing to witness. Somebody will come to me and say, my kid just won't stop nagging or won't eat their dinner or whatever it is the kids do. Right. And what we'll say is in one of our healing, well, what's the mirror there? Right. What's the mirror there? What's going on inside you?
Mm-hmm.
And once they find that and then start to purify that through the remembrance, and that lifts and shifts and transforms back into light.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm already getting ideas, Salima.
Yeah, back into light. Then all of a sudden they report, gee, I don't understand this, but my kid's eating. And when I ask them to do something, they're saying, yeah, Ma, no problem.
Oh, God.
It's miraculous.
Wait for that. Okay. All right. I'm going to shoot you an email later.
Oh, good.
Look for me in a week. That's wonderful. Okay. So, because I find that folks are, when we judge other people, it's really reflecting upon how harsh we judge ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then if you
Absolutely.
recognize that you're connected to source and you are loved just because you exist, it's like, oh.
Mm-hmm. and all of those things that we tell ourselves that aren't true are like stains on our mirror, rust on our mirror.
Okay.
And then they cloud how we see the world. Right?
Of course it would. Yeah.
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 I always tell the story about, being in those carnival mirrors,
Yes.
that are distorted.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I'm tiny, so I particularly liked the distorted mirror that made me tall, but it was a distortion.
I hear ya. I'm 5'1" over here. We're in the same boat.
Yeah. We can relate.
So after,
but it's a distorted image, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And when we see the world through that distorted image, we make all kinds of judgments about it instead of seeing the beauty.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Gosh.
And that's the purification and the transformation that's needed in order for us to enter into the die before you die, or the unity, the oneness of all creation.
Right. Okay. Was there more beyond the remembrance and sound?
Sure. We have, and I have a free 5 C's recording. It's a series
wonderful.
a series of 5 videos that come with worksheets, work programs that people can walk through. And at the end of the broadcast, you'll see what do you call those things? A link. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. You'll see a link that will allow you access to, it's called the 5 C's of Inner Truth.
Okay.
And it will walk you through the first 5 steps in a very easy way of understanding the steps of Sufism that lead to a commitment to really live your life fully with purpose, intention, and love.
Oh gosh, yes, we are waking up to that because goodness, don't we? I mean, we always need that, but especially now, learning how to move beyond the chaos or to see it differently, maybe.
To see it differently, to really see it differently.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference when you see it differently. And there's certain things that we do want to say no to.
Sure.
Right? There's certain things that clearly, we want to say no to war, no to killing, no to violence, no to disrespect. Those things are not our natural state of being. And how do we, this is the other step in Sufism, how do we return and turn our hearts to truth? That's why we call it the 5 C's of inner truth.
Okay. Yeah. Gosh.
And it's too long for me to explain fully in this short broadcast, which is why we have
Thank
the
you for
5
that.
C's of inner truth for your audience.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Well, after hearing about just this small portion of it, I can't wait to hear the rest and watch its videos. I can't wait to watch or listen to the rest, and wondering about taking that to my Patreon folks and practicing with them. That would be really great.
Yes.
So I'm curious also about one of the things that I learned about, I don't know if this is Sufism or something different, so I'm hoping you can shed some light on it, but the 3 voices technique. I am so curious about that.
Yes, this is on the video, so you'll learn more about the 3 voices on the video, but I can just briefly share a little bit, because it's a helpful skill to know who's talking and who's listening.
Yes.
Yeah, because we have so many voices, right? There's like cacophony. I say there's like a full orchestra sometimes in my head of voices that I can hear.
Yeah,
right?
Everybody just be quiet.
Yeah.
Yep.
And some of those voices are known as outside voices, right? Voices that we heard from our parents, voices that we've heard from our teachers, voices that we may have heard from friends, And we've internalized some of those voices as truth.
Yep. 100%.
Right. So that's the first voice that I say, we begin to say, no, thank you. Right? That outside voice that acts like a little whisperer in our ear, or sometimes gets stuck in our heart or in our head, and it becomes like a tape record you hear over and over again. You're bad. You can't do anything right. Right?
Yep.
You're stupid. Right? What's wrong with you?
Yep.
All those recorded messages that become our reality, but are not the truth. The techniques we teach you in Sufism begin to help you not only say no, but also to wipe the slate clean. Because we need to clean those voices, because they're really destructive to our humanity.
They most certainly are. Yeah.
The second voice is the voice of our ego, the voice of ourself. That it's the I that wants to control. And as human beings, we love being in control.
Right?
It gives us a sense of safety if we're in control. But it's a false sense of safety.
I was going to say, we like being disillusioned, I guess.
Yes, it's a false sense of safety. I want that new car or whatever it is, right? That keeps us in and focused on the I.
Yeah.
And that's the second voice to recognize, to discern, because a lot of this is about discernment, right? The third that I really want everyone to pay attention to is what's in Sufism is known as the voice of God within you. Some Quakers call it the still small voice inside. But there's a voice that speaks to you from within your heart that reminds you, because we say Sufism is about remembrance and being reminded.
Oh.
Yeah. Remembrance and being reminded. And this still small voice inside, this voice of God within you, reminds you of the truth of who you are. And we all know when we hear truth. You know, some people get goosebumps when they hear it. Mm-hmm. Some people just go, aha, yeah. Right?
Mm-hmm. There's that again.
Mm-hmm. There's that again, right? So to recognize when your heart is trying to communicate with you and speaking the words of truth that your spirit, your soul, your ego even need to hear to make your life more purposeful, more fulfilled, more peaceful, more loving, and more happy. And that's just a quick summary of the three voices.
Oh, thank you for that. And also, would you please just I'm glad I have this recording because I'm falling asleep in a good way. I think I need Meditations by Salima. Your voice is wonderful. Oh my goodness. Okay, so these are all beautiful teachings, and folks are going to get to know more when they download what you have to share. I'm curious about listeners, though, when they stop this episode, when they finish listening to this episode, what is one thing that you suggest that they do to move toward this? I'm not saying they need to move into Sufism, but what can they do to move toward this way of being, this more peaceful way of being? What's just one thing that they can do now?
What's one thing? Very easy thing. Look in the mirror and say, when God created me, God created beauty.
Ooh.
Now, a lot of other voices may come up.
Sure. Sure. I just got the chills, which means to me truth, I suppose, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
That's really great. Yeah, lots of other...
Very, very simple thing, but keep repeating it until all those other voices go away and there's only the voice of truth.
Yes, I was just going to ask that. I was just going to ask what happens if those other voices do pop in, and you're saying you simply repeat.
They do pop in. Yeah, they do pop in. Just repeat it until it becomes the only voice Wonderful. That you hear.
Oh my gosh, I love this so much. Well, goodness, Salima, I appreciate you so much and your wisdom and for sharing today. I'm curious, you said I think this is before we started recording, that you are creating a physical campus in Santa Barbara, California, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Where folks can come and learn.
The folks can come and study. Come and study Sufism. We're also creating a wellness and a healing center there, as well as an assisted living. Because as we get older, we also need a place of caring and support and spiritual mindedness.
Oh, I love this so much. But yes. When is it due, you think?
I don't know. Oh. I wish I had a magic crystal ball and could tell you when we're opening. But right now, we're just at the beginning stages, so stay tuned.
Okay, maybe a year or two. I don't know, but okay.
Stay tuned.
I know I'll be there.
Good.
That sounds so beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Salima. All your contact information and your free gift will be available for folks on the show notes and downloads area of YouTube. Any final thoughts you would like to offer today?
Just know that you are loved.
Thank you. I know. Mm-hmm. Appreciate you, Salima. Thanks so much.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining the Reluctant Medium podcast today. I hope that this episode has brought you beautiful, high vibration and that it continues emanating from your heart space for the rest of the day and beyond. Don't forget to join The Reluctant Medium on patreon.com, and you can also visit thereluctantmedium.us and The Reluctant Medium TV show on newrealitytv.com. Until next time, my friend, may you be well.